Right now, right now. 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 Oh, I got a real good feeling.
We try to bring you high quality educational and informational content every single day. Why do you think the price is having such an news story up and jump onto the chart? Is this the beginning of a massive financial unraveling? We gotta add a little addendum to the show map today, and so we start here on the daily. Now, we've been looking at the RSI on Bitcoin's daily chart for the last several days. It always has been, but it's been increasing over the last 50 years since the government has been getting bigger. Hey guys, what's going on? Jeb here, and welcome back to Coffee and Crypto Live. This is your week daily morning show where we bring you the latest and everything Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. And in today's episode, we are going to be talking about the likely continuing crash on Bitcoin. Right now, Bitcoin is trading well below $90,000 and the altcoins are getting eviscerated. Today, we're going to be talking about where the bottom is for Bitcoin, why the bottom is likely coming for Bitcoin, and we're going to be talking exactly what we are doing about it right now. Because you see, what makes this channel different is we do talk about technical analysis. We do talk about geopolitics. We do talk about national politics. We do talk about fundamentals. We do talk about personas and personalities and companies and countries and what they're doing in this market. But the thing that we do that most other people don't do is we actually come at it from a financial coach's point of view. We come at it from the point of view of saying, hey, if you want to succeed in this market, you've got to understand how money works. And most people don't have a freaking clue how money works. They don't understand what the laws of money are. They don't understand what the financial sovereignty way is. They don't understand the danger of debt. They don't understand the importance of investment. They don't understand the importance of keeping a budget. They don't understand the importance, most importantly, of being sovereign over your money. Because what most people do, whether they are rich or whether they are poor, is they serve their money as their God and as their master. And so therefore, they are a slave in every sense of the word to their money. I'm going to show you how to be freed from the bondage of money, and I'm going to show you how to make a lot of it so that you can have a great life and so that you can live and give big. I want you to have a wonderful, incredible life with your family here under the sun, and I also want to help you to help other people. Because it ain't poor people that are saving little kids out of caves in Peru. It ain't poor people that are sending money all over the world, sending themselves all over the world, sending their family all over the world to help people. It's people that got a little bit of money. In my Father's house, there are many rooms in heaven. And in this house, I want to make sure that there is wealth so that I have the resources at my disposal to participate in the modern economy and help people. And that's what I want to help you to do. Let's go out here and build some wealth. Let's do it the right way. Let's make sure we're not slaves to it so that we can actually prosper in every sense of that word. Very excited to be here today, guys. Make sure to check out the video that went out yesterday. Make sure to check out the video that's going out today. We've got a video coming out here in just a couple of hours to explain to you exactly why I think a major drop is coming to Bitcoin, where it's coming from, where we're going. Where'd you come from, Cotton Eye Joe? And we're going to be talking about all that. So make sure to check that video out. Coming out this afternoon. Very proud of it. Very excited about it. Cannot wait to show you it. So check that out on the channel. Make sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Let's go ahead and read some chat. Appreciate all of you guys for being here. We're about to dive right on into some high quality educational and informational content. But first, I want to give a warm welcome and shout out to everybody who is here with us today. Victor is in chat. Victor Lopez is in chat. Sean O'Brien in chat. Juan is in chat. Blasnik. Joe's in chat. Angela W. said, good afternoon, Jeb from England. Mastermind Money said, Florida Nightlife. Okay. Buckaroo 10 Venter is in chat. Philly Skills 1428 said, yo, morning, my guy, Jeb. Good morning to you. Tiger Man said, bear market prices in a bull market does not make sense. Except it does. I'll show you a chart to explain why it does. One love, Pastor Jeb. Hi, Sarah. Good morning to you, Queen. Good morning to you, every queen. Good morning to you, Queen. Not every queen. Good morning to you, Queen. Alex Nibo's in chat. Viorica is in chat. Appledacia. Drian121's in chat. Thomas Editsum Productions LLC called out, said, what up, Jeb? What's up, guys? We got a lot to cover. We got a lot to cover. Let's see. Can I drop a tidbit of wisdom here for you this morning. With great power comes great responsibility. I had a fun interaction with my 4-year-old last night. He was watching a little bit of TV, right? Watching a little bit of, what was he watching? He was watching Umizoomi. He's watching the classics from 20 years ago. He's watching some Umizoomi. I put the sleep timer on. TV's turning off. It's all great. He gets his hand on the remote. I'm like, wait a minute. I hear that TV on in there. That TV ain't supposed to be on in there. Why is that TV on in there? I walk in there. I look at him and say, Malachi, what's going on? He just looks at me like he's busted, right? He knows that he wasn't supposed to do that. And I said, you know what? Instead of giving you some kind of consequences, here's what I'm going to do. Here's a remote. You choose when you go to sleep. You go ahead. You want to pull an all-nighter? Go for it. Be my guest. Let's see what happens. So I give him the remote. Say, go to town. You want to stay up all night watching TV? Just know, Daddy wakes up at 5:15 in the morning. You're going to be up before 6:15 in the morning. Before the sun comes up, you're going to be awake because I'm going to get your butt out of bed and give you a bath and get you off to school. So just so you know, I'm waking you up before the crack of dawn. So you do what you think is right. This boy proceeds to leave the TV on for another 3 hours. Woke up this morning, cannot keep his eyes open, and it's the funniest thing ever. I think he learned his lesson. Here's the nugget of wisdom there. With great power comes great responsibility. Are you being responsible with the metaphorical television remote that you have in your hands? Or are you setting yourself up for future disaster? Are you being responsible with the financial portfolio that you have in front of you? Are you being responsible with the people that you have around you that you are in influence over? Are you being responsible with your voice? Are you being responsible with any of this? Are you choosing to make good choices with those things which the Lord has blessed you with? If not, start, because it's a painful life when you make dumb choices and stay up till 3 in the morning when your body needs 11 hours of sleep. We won't be doing that again tonight, but I just wanted him to see how that worked out. And you guys may very well need to see something like that, and I do too. Sometimes we need to understand the consequences of our decisions. Let's talk a little bit about the consequences of other people's decisions right now as it relates to cryptocurrency. Bitcoin is currently trading at $87,500. It is down to $1.735 trillion in market capitalization, down 8.72% in the last 7 days. Ethereum is down 9.5% in the last 7 days. We've got a 12.45% correction here on XRP and an 18% correction on Solana. Why is this occurring? Well, we've talked about recently some of the reasons why this is going on. One of the major reasons that this is happening is because we have a shift in geopolitics. Donald Trump is moving in the direction of tariffs. He's moving in the direction of reciprocal tariffs on other nations. And these reciprocal tariffs on other nations are going to drive short-term inflation, most likely, because nations around the world that want to do business with the United States are going to have to be paying these tariffs. And instead of them going unprofitable, what they're most likely going to do is just raise prices to some degree. Let's say it's a 25% tariff. They're probably going to raise prices by 15 to 20% on the good in question to recuperate most of the lost revenue that they'll have because of the tariff. Essentially, a tariff is another form of a tax, but it is a tax on those companies that those companies will oftentimes kick down the road to American consumers. So it does actually end up driving inflation because of the way that the flow of money operates, right? When you tax anyone, it typically leads to inflation. If you didn't realize this already, taxation is generally the predominant cause of inflation eventually. If you get far enough down the chain, that's normally what happens because the free market under capitalism has a race to the bottom effect. Whoever can produce the same good for cheaper is going to win. Governments, on the other hand, have a race to the top effect where they compete against one another to tax their citizens as much as they possibly can and raise the prices of different things. Most of the time, it's the taxes. And so the taxes end up getting kicked down into the actual price of the good. For example, here in Florida, gasoline right now is $3.30 a gallon. In Tennessee, where we just were for a variety of factors, it is $2.43. Whereas it takes us $35 to fill up our tank in Tennessee, right now it's taking $54 to fill up our tank here in Florida. Why is that? Well, Florida has relatively high taxes on gasoline, and that gets kicked down to the consumer in the end cost of the gasoline. And so these tariffs, since they are a form of a tax that in a roundabout way does end up being a tax on American citizens, does end up leading to inflation, which in the short term is bad for Bitcoin because it's crashing the S&P 500. If we look at the SP 500, we're sitting at 597, but in the long run will actually be good for Bitcoin because it will lead to a resurgence in people investing in Bitcoin because they don't like inflation. A lot of the people that got into Bitcoin over the last 3 to 4 years got into Bitcoin because they were not pleased with the inflation that was occurring under Biden era quantitative easing, which was as a result of the Federal Reserve purchasing treasuries and mortgage-backed securities. This was an inflationary decision that the Biden administration and the Biden era Federal Open Market Committee made, not necessarily directed by Biden, but that's when it occurred with the COVID-19 pandemic. And that led to large amounts of inflation, which led to large amounts of influx into the Bitcoin market. That's what happened right here, large amount of influx. And so we're probably going to see short-term consequences from these tariffs, longer-term gain from these tariffs, because it's going to lead to some medium-term inflation. Won't be majorly inflationary for 5 to 10 years, but probably inflationary for 6 to 18 months as these companies onshore into America. Make no mistake, the United States is the largest market in the entire world with the most stable future outlook, both demographically, culturally, scientifically, technologically, societally, however you want to look at it, that ends in Lee. We have the best outlook, so everybody is going to be moving their companies into the United States, moving manufacturing into the United States so they can get around these tariffs. So that will take time. And while that's happening, the prices of goods will temporarily go up for probably 6 to 18, 24 months as we have this move to American manufacturing occurring. We also have to keep in mind that building factories and expanding the economy is actually somewhat of an inflationary force as well. Because in the short term, building a giant factory that is not bringing you a return is a sunk cost that has to be recouped somehow. And so generally it's recouped through the increasing of the cost of goods and services that are already on offer until that factory comes online, in which case you can bring the costs back down because now the factory is actually profitable in and of itself. Same thing goes for much infrastructure. It becomes inflationary as it's under construction, and then it can come back down as it actually becomes operational and profitable. Nevertheless, what is the deduction here? Short term, we're looking at a bearish consequence on Bitcoin. Because the idea of, oh crap, more inflation is coming, we've been seeing a lot of that over the last 5 years, is not exactly popular, right? Not exactly the most popular thing to hear. Medium term, this is bullish for Bitcoin because it will lead to, most likely actual inflation, which will lead to people saying, oh, wait a minute, Bitcoin, we want to go in the direction of Bitcoin. Then following that, we will likely see, and even in the very long term, we'll likely see it be very bullish for Bitcoin as well, because in the long term, this will be very good for the United States S&P 500 2 to 4 years out after a lot of these companies have onshored into America. The S&P 500 is roaring because a lot of jobs are coming into the market. You've got low unemployment. You've got lots of capital being spent in the United States economy. Ends up leading to a lot of growth in the S&P 500 a few years out because tariffs are basically one form of a way a country can invest in itself. And at that point in time, with a roaring S&P 500, the United States likely ends up coming into its, the Bitcoin market likely ends up coming into its own as well. Short term, medium term, long term. Now, let's talk a lot more about that short term, because that's really what we're here to focus on the stream. If you want to look at some of our longer term content, check out our Climate of Crypto show. Climate of Crypto is our edited video series that is based on the climate of crypto. Wow, it's like it's in the name or something. We're looking at the long-term forecasts of what's going to happen in Bitcoin and why. We're not looking at the weather, we're looking at the climate. Here on Coffee and Crypto, we're looking at the weather. We're looking at what happened today. We're looking at what happened yesterday, what's happening tomorrow. But we're currently looking at that kind of shorter term. So let's take a look here at that shorter term. Short term, we have a chart here that is going to be explained in a lot more detail in tomorrow's video. Stay tuned for this. This video will be coming out around 1 p.m. Eastern tomorrow. This video, every single drawing on this chart is an important piece of the compilative puzzle. This chart will be getting its day in the sun. I just shot this morning. It'll go off for editing. It'll be coming out tomorrow. This will be a Climate of Crypto episode, so stay tuned. But I just kind of briefly want to touch on what this looks like. Not going to go into a ton of detail because, again, this is a Climate of Crypto series episode. This is a longer-term play. This is going to be in tomorrow's video. But in general, we're looking at a drop to about $73,800. Stay tuned for that video tomorrow. We're looking at a drop to roughly $73,800. And a large part of the reason for that is because we have just fallen below the 20-weekly exponential moving average. That is this green, yellow. I don't know. I'm colorblind. What color is it? You guys tell me. This line right here. We'll just remove the other one so that it's easy to tell which one I'm talking about. I forgot. You guys can see color. I can't. This one right here, that line, we've just dropped below the 20 weekly exponential moving average, which indicates that Bitcoin is now moving into a very bearish territory here. We've got ourselves a large correction. We've got ourselves falling below the 20 weekly EMA in a similar way that we've seen during other large corrections. What this does indicate is that we're probably roughly halfway through this corrective movement, potentially even more so. If we were to say that it if we were to look from here, we're about 100 days into our sideways / bearish market. We're probably looking at another up to, but probably less than 100 days of sideways / bearish action. And again, this is coming on top of all the different news that we have of, as let's see, who was it? Nirvana. That's an easy name to remember. Nirvana said in chat, 6 U.S. states have rejected Bitcoin reserve bills. That is a bearish piece of FUD. It's true, but it's bringing a lot of fear and uncertainty and doubt in the cryptocurrency market because people are thinking, oh my gosh, these states aren't going to do it. We're also seeing the concerns about Bybit getting hacked to the tune of $1.5 billion. We've got the concerns about the tariffs. We've got the concerns about the stock market trading sideways. We've got all these different concerns that are leading to this correction on Bitcoin. And so us breaking below the 20 weekly EMA should not be a cause for concern. It should be something that we saw coming. It should be something that makes sense. And we should be looking for a possible drop down to as low as $73,800. So to the question that made you click on this video, is a major Bitcoin crash still coming? Yes, most likely it is. Most likely we are going to see a drop down to $73,800, and that drop will end up probably leading us into the next major phase of the rally. Now, more details on all the technical reasons, like just the massive amount of the litany amount of reasons why a drop to $73,800 is coming soon. Case for that's coming out tomorrow, but after that low comes in, I kind of want to talk about what happens from there, because that's where I want to bring the hope in, right? People get so freaked out when I say a drop is coming, and they don't like to hear it. The drop down to 73,800, should it happen, would likely be one of the most healthy things that could possibly happen to Bitcoin. It would likely lead us into a springboard much higher. We've called in this bull market for highs as high as $250,000. We've called for $150,000 to $250,000 Bitcoin by the end of the cycle. And with that occurring, we're likely going to see that happen sometime this year. So a drop down to $73,000 looks a little bit like this. This last rally from August 5th up here to January 20th of 2025, two very interesting, important dates, we saw a 130% rally, a $62,000 movement. If we bounced off of $73,800, 120%, we would rally to $163,000. If we bounced and rallied off of $73,000, $62,000, then we would rally $135,000 to $135,000. It is very possible, and I believe likely, that the next time we see a major breakout on the S&P 500, which may be a couple of months from now, this is not necessarily going to happen right away, but the next time that we do see a major break bullish from the S&P 500, we're likely going to see a major break bullish as well for the Bitcoin market. So stay tuned. A major crash is likely still coming, but that does not mean the bear market is coming. I think with a very high likelihood that the bear market is not about to start. We've still got a lot of time left before that occurs. Now, let's read a little bit of chat here. And I want to give you a couple of updates before we get into the next part of the video here. One House Production said the 20 is yellow, you're drawing in white. Luckily, I can see the white. I am red-green colorblind. I'm a moderate pro-tan. So red and green look very similar to me. Orange, just awfully confusing, you know? Yeah. Interesting facts about your boy Jeb. I am very colorblind. I can see color. The way I like to explain this to people is that the human eye, generally, without any color vision impairment, can see, I think, about 10 million colors. I can probably see like 100,000. I can see colors. I just can't see as much color variety and depth as you guys can. And there's a lot of colors that I just simply can't tell what they are. I couldn't tell you what color it is. I get it wrong half the time. Blue and purple, red and brown, green and yellow. You know, those colors that are close to each other on the color wheel. It's rough. One House Production said, debt-free equal rich. Don't give milk. Hashtag FinSoft. What's your milk ratio? It's one of the things we talk about around here. What's your milk ratio? How much of your wealth is going to the bank? I just made a video yesterday for the Financial Sovereignty Academy, week 8. Just shot that yesterday. It was a 58-minute long raw file. It'll probably end up being a 25 to 30-minute long video that'll be going into FinSov Academy next week. And in that video, we showed you the difference between a 30-year and a 15-year mortgage. A 15-year mortgage following our rule versus a 30-year mortgage that people normally get. And in that video that'll be going into the Financial Sovereignty Academy soon, I showed you that in the first example, which is what people normally do, not following our rules, over the lifespan of that 30-year loan, they will pay about, I think it was $367, it might have been about $400,000 in interest. Following the rule that we set out, they would pay over the lifespan of that loan $98,000 in interest. And then following the extra rule that we have to increase our principal payment on the mortgage, they would end up paying, I think it was $67,000, reducing their interest load, the amount of interest that they're going to have to pay on that house, on that mortgage, by almost 85%. I want you guys to remember something very important. There is a reason. There's a reason that we are trying to build wealth. We're not, people forget this. We're not just building wealth for the sake of building wealth. We want to build the right kind of wealth. You see, you can say, I want to lose weight. You can say, I want to lose weight. I want to lose 20 pounds. There's really a few different ways you can do that, though. And so it's not just about losing 20 pounds that matters. It's about losing the right kind of 20 pounds. If you're not careful and you starve yourself, you're going to end up losing 10 pounds of muscle and 10 pounds of fat or some kind of mixture like that. You're going to end up losing a lot of muscle as well with a lot of fat. If you lose weight the correct way, which is where you're strength training and you're doing cardiovascular exercise, and you're doing a moderate, a healthy level calorie deficit, like 500 to 750 calories a day, somewhere in there, then you're not going to lose a lot of muscle. You'll lose some, but you're mostly going to lose fat, and you're going to lose it the right way. And similarly for us in the financial space, rather than in the health and fitness space, here in the financial space, you can build wealth in a few different ways. You can build wealth in a way where you're a slave to it, and you've got 10 rental properties, and you look really cool from the outside. You drive the fancy car, but the Lambo's got a 220 loan on it. You got on your 10 rental properties, they're worth 1.8, but you got 1.5 in debt on them, and you're barely above water. Your net worth isn't much different than the guy down the street, but your stress level's up here because you're a freaking slave. So we've got to understand that if we're going to build wealth, we want to build it the right way. We don't just want to build wealth for the sake of building wealth. We want to build wealth the right way. And so we've really got to get serious about how we build wealth. And we do that by following the 7 laws of money. And those 7 laws of money are as follows. Number 1, we must choose to be financially sovereign. We must choose right now. We must make a decision right now that from this day forward, we are living in a state of control over our finances. We will not be a slave to our Bitcoin. We will not be a slave to the government. We will not be a slave to our dollars. We will not be a slave to our home. We will not be under the servitude and the slavery of things and money. Step 2, we must live on less than we make. If you are living on more than you make, that's a little bit like driving towards a cliff and hoping you don't fall off. Eventually, you're going to fall off. Step 3, we must avoid debt. Step 3, we must have a written plan for our money. We call this a budget. We call this a financial plan. We call this an investment plan. We need a written plan for our money. Jesus himself said that it is a fool who doesn't count the cost, sets out to build a tower, gets halfway up the tower, runs out of materials, and the entire town starts to laugh and mock at him because he didn't count the cost. He didn't have a plan. He didn't have a blueprint. He didn't have a budget. In the same way, we've got to count our cost for salvation. We've got to count the cost for our money because that's the wise thing to do. Law number 4, we must avoid debt. People tell me, well, Jeb, are there reasons to go into debt? Yes, there are reasons to go into debt. I think it's a decent idea to take out a 15-year mortgage to get into the market because if you get sidelined and you don't get into a house, then eventually what's going to happen is if you wait 15 years to buy the house in cash, which I love it if you do buy a house in cash, but if you do wait that long, then what you're going to end up doing is getting sidelined and the market's going to rally so fast that you would have made money just by taking the 15-year mortgage, right? Let's say somebody doesn't have a Bible. Let's say somebody's in a weird position. They're like, man, I gotta borrow $10 to go buy a Bible. Should you do that? Yeah, absolutely you should. Totally you should. There's this trend going around on X, like go into debt to do X, Y, and Z, and most of them are really dumb. One of them that says go into debt to buy a Bible. Totally. All for it. Most times, debt is the stupidest thing in the world to do financially. So law number 4, avoid debt. It's not never go into debt, because there are times here and there, like for example, if somebody's going to die and they don't have insurance, I would rather them go into a bunch of debt so that they can get the treatment that they need and not die, than not go into debt and be dead. Some things are more important than others. Not going into debt is very important. We need to avoid it. Law number 5, we need to save and invest for the future. And here's why. It is a fool who eats all that he has, and when the winter comes, he has nothing left, and he is left to be a pauper and a beggar in the streets and hope that other people will feed him. Book of Proverbs talks about this. It's a fool that does not save and invest. It's a fool that does not store up for future travesty. We plan for our future by obeying and serving Christ. It's not exactly a savings account. It's just saying we are preparing for the future and for the now by placing our trust in the Lord. We are preparing ourselves for the future in a much less significant way. Keep the Lord in his place, which is number 1. But we are preparing for the future in a similar way of saying we're going to store up some wealth. We're going to store up some corn. We're going to store up some grain. We're going to store up some money for the future if stuff hits the fan. Law number 6, we're going to be radically generous because God was radically generous with us. And then the 0th law of money is that we must remember that it is not our money. It is God's money. So we had better behave him. Behave him. We'd better behave and obey him. Excuse me. Sorry. Didn't get a lot of sleep last night. Those are the 7 laws of money. So if you want to learn more about the 7 laws of money and how to apply them in your life, then I highly recommend you checking out the Financial Sovereignty Academy. The Financial Sovereignty Academy is where we're going to teach you how to prosper financially. I want to help you follow these laws. I want to help you follow our 10-step way called the Financial Sovereignty Way, the FinSov way. And we're going to do that with the Financial Sovereignty Academy. The 7 laws of money, the FinSov way, and the FinSov Academy. Those are all names I want you to remember. We've got 6 videos now out in FinSov Academy, totaling a couple of hours of content. There are 2 more on their way. There are 2 videos currently in editing. I'm shooting another one this afternoon or tomorrow. Depending on if I have time today, I'll be shooting it today. Our first video is Forsake Foolishness, Declare War on Chaos, and Choose FinSov. That's a 24-minute video. It is the first step of the FinSov way. Step 2 is Scorched Earth Tactics. If you're living on more than you make, you burn it all to the ground. For all of you pyros out there, you're going to have some fun with this one because we're going to light stuff on fire. You're going to sell the stupid car in your front yard. You're going to move into a 1-bedroom studio apartment because you're freaking broke. Are we making sense? You're going to do the proverbial rice and beans and rice, and you don't get no chicken. No steaks coming with that because you're freaking broke. Hopefully you don't have to go through that step. I had to go through that step one time. It was not fun. It was not fun. Step 3. This is a 26-minute video that we have on maintaining a budget. This is how we maintain a written plan for our money. 27-minute video we have here. Week 4, this is step 4 of the Financial Sovereignty Way. We're going to save a $2,500 starter emergency fund before our war on debt. We are now in the second triad of the FinSov Way. The FinSov Way is broken up into 3 triads. The war on chaos, the war on debt, and the intentional investment. Those 3 triads are very important. Week 5 is declaring war on debt. This is a 30-minute video about exactly how you're supposed to declare war on debt so that you can be debt-free. One of the most important things you'll ever do with money is not owing it to anyone else and making sure that it's all yours. You don't want some of your money belonging to someone else because then you don't actually have that money. It belongs to someone else. It's an IOU. Week 6 is we're going to save a fully funded 3 to 6 month emergency fund. That's a 17-minute video explaining to you exactly how to do that, why you should do that. Then week 7 is why we invest 15% of our household income for retirement. That video is currently in editing. My editor told me that will be back on Sunday, so we'll probably be uploading that around 1 week from today, probably next Wednesday when the price increases. By the way, we'll be talking about that in a second. Week 8, paying off your house early. Just shot this video yesterday. It's incredible. Absolutely amazing. When this video comes out, it is going to knock your socks off. Paying off your home early, I'm going to explain to you exactly why it's one of the most important things you'll ever do with money and why you should do it and why if you don't do it, your family's going to suffer. Week 9, this video is in scripting. I will probably be shooting this video today or tomorrow, is investing for extra wealth generation. And then week 10 is living the FinSov way. We're giving massively, we're investing wisely, and we're living joyfully, and it's going to be awesome. And that's where we are. We're in week 9 and week 10. We invest a lot of money for the long term. We pay down our mortgage. And honestly, we're probably thinking about selling our house and just buying something in cash, to be honest. We invest for extra wealth generation. We do this, and we live FinSoft. We give, we invest wisely, and we live joyfully, and it's amazing. It's awesome. We love it. And there's a bunch of other videos in here, a bunch of other video topics in here that are planned. The twin enemies of financial sovereignty, chaos and debt, why people fail with money, the link between financial sovereignty and personal well-being, psychological barriers to living a financially sovereign life, how do we declare war on chaos, what is financial foolishness. These are all videos that will be coming in the future. We got a lot of content coming out, and that is why 1 week from yesterday, next Tuesday, we will be having a price increase to the Financial Sovereignty Academy. One of the things that FSA does is we have a mandatory 3% annual inflation adjustment to the price. So the price would have already been going to $102 this year as a result of that mandatory increase, but we've added another 2% because of all the content coming out. A lot of amazing content is coming into the Financial Sovereignty Academy right now. If you want to see more about that content, then make sure to check out our patch notes. These are freely available to the public. You can see November 30th patch notes, January 9th patch notes, and then yesterday's patch notes, all right down here. You can see all of them, see all the things that are changing in here. This is freely available to the public. You can see all of these different changes, everything going on behind the scenes for the development of the FinSov Academy, see where we're going, where we've been, what our vision is, all of it. We're going to teach you guys how to live and give big, how to live a joyful life. So make sure to sign up for the Financial Sovereignty Academy today before the price increases to $104 a year next Tuesday, and 3% at least every year from then on. If you sign up right now, you're going to be getting access to the FinSov Academy for $99 a year forever. For as long as you keep your subscription active, you will be locked in at $99 a year. But come Tuesday, the best deal that you're ever going to get access to is $104 a year. We do not ever discount FinSov Academy. The only thing that changes in the price is once a year, the price goes up. That's the only thing we do to the pricing. I could charge way more money for where the course is going. We could do a one-time payment. It doesn't work business-wise. We want this course, we want this academy to be just as relevant in 30 years as it is today, and we're going to make sure that that happens. So sign up for the FinSov Academy right now. We're going to teach you how to build wealth. We're going to teach you how to keep the wealth, and most importantly, we're going to teach you how to enjoy your life. Because something I found is that every single one of us falls into one of three camps. Either one, we're not very generous. We don't really help other people. And you know what happens when you don't really help other people? No one likes you, you have no friends, and you're miserable. You know why? Because you were designed to be generous. So I'm going to help you get a little bit of money so you can actually be generous in a financially responsible way. Number two, some people don't invest wisely. Some people just do not, they cannot make heads or tails over spending money the right way. They spend everything that they have. They got nothing left, and they're freaking broke. And the third thing, and this is really the one that I've struggled the most with, because I'm a radically generous person. If I see somebody in need, I'm going to do something about it. I just can't help myself. It's like I have to be like, man, this money was for my kids. I've got to kind of hold myself back sometimes because I just love giving. It's my favorite thing to do. I love investment. The thing that I've really struggled with in my life is actually enjoying money. Last point I'll make on this, we'll get back to crypto. Last point I'll make on this is that there are two mistakes that you can make with money. One, you can start enjoying your money too early and not investing it. You can start enjoying your money too early where you made a little bit of money and you're like, I'm going to go on a big trip. I just got a $10,000 a year raise. So I'm going to go on a $15,000 vacation. Are you dumb? You can't afford that. You can't afford that. You were barely making it before. You're living too early. You're enjoying the fruit of your labor that hasn't happened yet. There's a word for that. It's called debt. You are becoming indebted to yourself or a credit card. You're borrowing from the future because you're living too early. But the one that I've really struggled with is not so much that one. The one that I really struggle with is not enjoying money early enough. A lot of times I'm like, man, we could drop $5,000 on a vacation. And I don't. Even though it's perfectly responsible, completely responsible. Nothing wrong with that. $5,000 for a vacation, we're good. It's not a big deal anymore. 7 years ago, that was a lot of money. Today, that's money, but I move around $5,000 basically on a daily or weekly basis, right? So I could do that, and a lot of times I don't. And so that's really hurt my wife sometimes. I'm like, man, just being vulnerable with you, I'm like, man, I need to do better. I got to make sure that we're actually enjoying this. Because if you don't ever enjoy your money, you will lose motivation to build more of it. And the people around you will feel like you don't value them. And so you've got to be very careful about how you approach money. You've got to make sure that you're being generous. You've got to make sure that you're investing wisely. And you've also got to do your best to live joyfully. Because ultimately, the mandate that we have on this earth from God, spoken through Solomon, the king, is to obey God and enjoy our life under the sun. That's kind of, people are like, what's the meaning of life? Obey God and enjoy your life under the sun. That's the meaning of life. In that order, but that's the meaning of life. And so if you're not being generous, if you're not investing wisely, if you're not living joyfully, then you got a problem. And the wise among you will realize that you have a problem. We all do. Every single one of us needs to improve in one of these areas. And you'll do something about it because your life can be better than it currently is. And I want it to be. So make sure to sign up for the Financial Sovereignty Academy if you have not already. I'm going to teach you how to overcome these struggles as we also work to overcome them in our lives. So make sure to check out FinSov Academy. You're going to absolutely love it. All right, let's read a little bit of chat. We're going to get back to some crypto. Very excited about today's stream. Very excited you guys are all here. Got a $100 donation from Rick4962. Thank you very much, Rick. Said prayers to all. Indeed. Thank you very much, Rick. We really appreciate that. All right. Let's read a little bit of chat here. Faith over fear. Agreed. Retail sells while whales accumulate. You sound like a millennial version of Dave Ramsey. You know what's funny? While we were in Nashville, I had to do it. We drove over by Ramsey headquarters, and I looked around. I'm like, man, I am not envying Dave Ramsey. I don't want to be Dave Ramsey. I want to be Jeb McAfee. But this is awesome. The headquarters there. Have you ever been to Nashville and their headquarters? You walk around. It's a 6-story building. The building's like giant. Up on the hill, they got this massive Ramsey Event Center. It's basically like the biggest mega church you've ever seen in the entire world. It probably seats like 5,000 people in there. I don't know. Overlooks up on the hill. It's like the same level as the top of the building. It's beautiful. We pull in. There's like 1,000 cars in the parking lot. Those are all employees. It was basically a snow day. Like nobody's visiting there right then. It's the middle of winter. Nobody's in Nashville doing tourism other than us because we're thinking about moving there, right? Beautiful. It's so gorgeous to see what the Lord has done in that ministry. I don't agree with everything Dave Ramsey says, but I do sound a lot like him because I'm also a Christian, right? He and I have the same source material. So you're like, man, you and Dave Ramsey sound like you're saying a lot of the same thing. That's because we're reading the same Bible. The Bible says the same thing no matter who's reading it, if you're actually reading it correctly. And by correctly, I mean you're just not taking it out of context. So do I sound a little bit like Dave Ramsey? I mean, we got the same source material. I'm doing the exact same thing. I'm teaching biblical financial literacy so people can have a better life. So yeah, to a great degree, there is some connection there. Shadrach Frost said, hashtag FSA, hashtag CT2A, invest in your education, hashtag FinSov. That's right. Thank you guys very much. One House Productions said, that sounds like a glorious morning. Hope you have a good day. Appreciate all of you guys for being here. James Darrell said said that was a compliment. Oh, I know. No, I know. I know it was a compliment. I know, and I appreciate it. Again, I'm working on being myself, right? I'm not ever trying to, mimic Dave Ramsey, but I do take that as a compliment because I have a lot of respect for Dave Ramsey and what he's done. I also have a lot of respect for how he's taking care of his family. As far as I'm aware, he's taking good care of his wife and his kids. All 3 of his kids work with his companies, which is a shining star of approval on his parenting. Overall, I like the guy. I'd like to meet him. If anybody knows Dave Ramsey, give him a shout. I'd like to meet him. Plan to one day. Obviously, that's up to him, though. Let's see. Let's see here. Extreme fear on fear and greed index. Bull markets are perfect time to buy right now. Right now we have one. Yeah, that's where we really ought to kind of land here for today's stream. This is an excellent time to be buying, in my opinion. We are continuing to dollar cost average every single day into Bitcoin as we have continually done for a very long time. We have not stopped dollar cost averaging into Bitcoin for a very long time. We love dollar cost averaging into Bitcoin. We've been buying Bitcoin sporadically for the last 7 years. We've been dollar cost averaging every single day. We switched to a daily model several months ago. It's worked very well for us. We've invested multiple 5 figures into Bitcoin. And we're looking at acquiring more than one coin a year is kind of the rate we're looking at right now. Very excited about all of it. Very excited about the portfolio growth that we are witnessing. And as Bitcoin drops down here, I have such a radical, profound belief in this market that we continue to invest in Bitcoin as it drops. And that's something that if you truly believe in Bitcoin, I want you to consider. If you truly believe in Bitcoin and you truly believe that it is the future, like we say it is, then I would ask you to consider whether or not you want to put your money where your mouth is. I really do believe that Bitcoin is going to be performing much better in the distant future than it is right now. That's how it's always worked. That's how I believe it will continue to work. I do believe that Bitcoin will continue to be a great investment. So consider buying the dip. That's what we're doing. We buy every single day. So as we're down here, we're lowering our average cost basis on this recent over the last the last 2 months of acquisitions, since we've been up here, bringing the average cost basis down, compared to the last 60 days or so. Very, very exciting developments. And I just want to encourage you to understand that the bottom is not necessarily in yet. The bottom still may be further, but the future is brighter for Bitcoin than it ever has been before. And we're very excited about what 2025 is going to bring. So let's continue to do the wise thing and store up and invest for the future. That's exactly what we've got to focus on, is storing up and investing for the future. Bitcoin is going on sale. Hashtag DCA, hashtag HODL. That's right. Christopher Ryan said, morning financial sovereignty family. I'm going to start a poll. Good morning to you. Do you want to have viewer call-ins return to the show? I love talking to you guys and basically doing a little bit of financial coaching right here with you guys live. I have a financial coaching call this afternoon. Very excited about that. I love doing financial coaching with you guys. Tell me if you'd like to see a return of people being able to call in, talk to them. They can ask their questions about crypto, ask their questions about finances live on the show. Really enjoyed that kind of content. 20 votes coming in. We've got 77% voting yes. So we're probably going to be moving in that direction. The only reason that we have not moved in that direction is I've got to figure out operationally who I'm going to have picking up the phones. But I do believe we're going to be moving back in that direction. Great piece of content there. Really enjoy that. Also makes for good clips. As we have this poll run, I'll put up another poll here in a second. Looks like a lot of you guys are saying yes to that. Another poll, would you support having those clips, those call-ins be clipped, right? Why did I stop doing it? The only reason I stopped doing it was because just operationally, I have to have another person pick up the phone and route the call over to me. And all I got to do is, this is part of the reason that we're working on establishing our headquarters, because I've got actually several heads, several positions that I'm trying to fill. As far as employees, one of them would be, basically just an assistant and a secretary that would probably be taking over that kind of thing in other roles. Right now, my wife's helping me with a lot with it, but, she's still very sick. Don't want to put too much pressure on her. And so that's part of the reason that we're looking at establishing the headquarters for the company in Nashville is with what we're trying to build with the Financial Sovereignty Academy and where it's going, we're going to need a large workforce. And I don't think I'm going to be able to find that in Gainesville. So we're thinking about relocating. We haven't decided, but we're thinking about relocating sometime late this year, maybe next year, to Nashville so we can establish the company's office up there. So exciting things. We'll see. Looking at hiring some more staff to potentially man the phones there. Short questions only. No, of course, we would be keeping the calls to between 5 and 10 minutes. We want to make sure that they keep coming. So it looks like 80% of you guys support bringing that back. And then one more poll. Would you support us clipping and uploading? Would you support us clipping and uploading those calls onto a Clips channel? Would you watch them? Question mark. So really appreciate you guys being here. While that poll's running, I want to let you guys know about one of our sponsors, which is NordVPN. If you've not signed up for NordVPN, you definitely should. Guys, NordVPN is going to keep you safe while you browse online. It's that simple. We've got access to a code over here. It's nordvpn.com/Jeb. For $93.36 for 28 months, about $3.33 a month, less than $3.50 a month, we're going to be getting you access to NordVPN. And by the way, NordVPN is not just a VPN, right? They started as a VPN, but NordVPN is like 15 years old now, guys. We got to remember that. Just pulling up the website here. NordVPN is very, very well-established company now. And they've got a lot more than just a VPN, which, by the way, is the best VPN in the world. So if you want a VPN, there's nowhere better to go than NordVPN. But they've also got a lot of anti-malware tools. Again, we're dealing with cybersecurity here. It's not just a VPN. They block phishing and malicious downloads, dangerous websites, and ads with the Threat Protection Pro, their anti-malware tool. It's integrated directly into the NordVPN app for Mac and Windows. We have it. It's spectacular. The Dark Web Monitor. This is great. If your information shows up anywhere it ain't supposed to be, then NordVPN's got moles all over the place checking to see if your information has shown up. It allows you to act fast and protect your accounts, change passwords, all of that, before hackers and thieves are able to use that information against you. They've got secure encryption with the AES 256 encryption protocol to encrypt your internet traffic. That is related to the SHA 256 encryption protocol that is used for Bitcoin's network. It's a very powerful encryption protocol. 256 means there's 256 digits in the number that is used to encrypt the traffic. It's very powerful. One-way encryption cannot be hacked. It's very, very powerful. It's basically impossible to hack it. They also protect you from tracking. If they see that somebody's tracking you, then you have the ability to stop that with bringing it down from their protection from tracking. Right? Global coverages. They're enabled in over 118 countries, 7,300 servers, and allowing you to connect wherever you need to. You should definitely check out NordVPN with the link in the description box down below, or by going to nordvpn.com/Jeb. Shadrack Frost said, hit the like button right away. It only takes a second. It's free, it's fun, and truly supports this channel. Thanks, friends. Yes. Absolutely. We really appreciate all of you guys that help to hit the like button. Let's see if we can't get up to 150 likes. Guys, we are at time. We got to wrap it out because I got a lot more content to go and build out in the FinSoft Academy. Got a lot of stuff to do here, getting that video up for today and tomorrow. A lot of X posts to make. Make sure to go follow us on our X account over there. I'm very active, posting over there every single day. One last thing to check out actually is almost forgot to mention this, but over on Blowfin, if you haven't signed up for Blowfin yet, the Ace of Trades competition is going on right now. There's a $240,000 prize pool in play in just the next couple of days. That's going to jump up to a $400,000 prize pool that will be distributed amongst all the different people that are trading in this prize pool. So if you've not already, make sure to go and join our team. We've got a lot of trading going on right now, and you can get access to a lot of rewards. So make sure to sign up with the link in the description box down below. Go do a bunch of trading, and you'll be able to get access to some prize pools. Really appreciate you guys for signing up for Blowfin. It helps to support the channel, obviously, with them being affiliated here with the channel. Check out Nord, check out the Financial Sovereignty Academy, and check us out next time. Hope you've enjoyed today's stream. Let's read that poll, actually. 80% of you, once again, said you would support us clipping and uploading those calls onto a Clips channel. Would you watch them? 80% of you said yes. So that's an area of content that we're going to be looking towards moving in the direction of. We already do financial coaching as a product, so it'd basically just be a smaller version of that. That is the direction that we're going. You guys are already calling me the cryptocurrency Dave Ramsey. It works very well for him. He didn't invent it. He ain't got a patent on it, so we're probably going to end up doing something similar. Appreciate all of you guys being here, supporting the channel. Stay tuned. We got a lot more content coming. A lot of content coming out this week. I mean, I've recorded 4 videos in the last 24 hours and done 2 streams and uploaded to X like 20 times. So a lot of stuff coming. Stay tuned. Can't wait for you to see it all. I got to go. Before I go, though, I do just first want to thank each and every single last one of you for watching, as always, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.
Oh, I got a real good feeling.